Howdy everyone, Jared here once again. Today we're going to have a very brief video explaining an important conceptual distinction in the Rousseau reading. So this distinction might not jump out at you at first. It's not made entirely 100% explicit within the text. Nonetheless, it's very important for grasping how Rousseau understands the foundation of inequality in civil society and how he traces this development back from our early origins up to the present. So this distinction, and it's also noted in your glossary, so this will be important for your vocab quiz at the end. This distinction is the distinction between amour de soi and amour propre. Both of these formulas, if you know a little bit of French, mean self-love or love of self in French. So what do these mean? Why is there a conceptual distinction that translates to the same thing? A bit confusing, admittedly. So for Rousseau, as a rule of thumb, you can remember that amour de soi is the good kind of self-love, whereas amour propre is the bad kind. So it's amour propre that is this human tendency that ends up accelerating inequality and also exasperating certain antagonisms in the development that leads up to the advent of civil society. What is amour de soi? What is this good kind of self-love? It's best described as an unmediated love of the self. The human being in a state of nature is, according to Rousseau, characterized by amour de soi. So amour de soi is a healthy concern and care, and the healthy care that one takes of the self. The love of the self that keeps us alive, that keeps us going, everything that we need for the maintenance of the self and for the tranquility and the happiness of the self. Amour de soi very much is the concern that leads to the tranquility and happiness of the human being in the state of nature. So what is amour propre? What is this bad, if you will, kind of self-love? It is best described as a kind of self-love that is mediated by society or mediated by the other or the other human being. More specifically, this signifies that amour propre might be translated as envy or vanity, things of this nature. This is a kind of self-love as mediated. This is the kind of self-love that passes through the regard of the other. So with amour de soi, the good self-love, it is unmediated. It's simply a circle of the self-loving the self. But with amour propre, this mediated self-love, the love of the self passes through something else. That is the other. That is the other person in society. And also, it's very much the gaze of the other. We're concerned with ourselves, obviously, in amour propre, but with ourselves insofar as the other person looks at us or regards us, insofar as the other person sees us. There's obviously, in this sort of process that amour propre implies, there's something akin to comparison with the other. Amour propre very much involves comparing yourself with the other person. So to take an example, in amour propre, I focus on my wealth, but I really focus on the wealth I don't have insofar as my neighbor has more wealth than I do. I focus on my appearance, but I'm really focusing on my appearance insofar as the other regards me, or also the other might appear more beautiful or successful than myself. So to recap, amour de soi is unmediated, good, healthy self-love, whereas amour propre is mediated self-love, self-love mediated by society and the other, that leads to the eventual inequalities that Rousseau saw in his present moment. Have a great day.